Have you ever noticed how some men become completely different after being alone for too long? Not louder, not colder, just distant. Tonight, you will understand what really happens inside a man's heart when he stays single for years, and why it changes the way he loves forever. Because by the end of this video, you'll know why some men suddenly stop chasing, stop trusting, and stop believing in forever, even when they meet the right person. And what I'm about to reveal might explain someone in your life perfectly. Loneliness doesn't always make a man weak. Sometimes it makes him silent. Sometimes it teaches him how to survive alone so well that he forgets how to need anyone again. And that's where the real story begins. No one talks about what happens to a man when he spends years loving no one and being loved by no one. At first, he tells himself he's fine. He enjoys the freedom, the quiet, the control. He learns how to eat alone, sleep alone, laugh alone, cry alone. He stops waiting for messages, stops expecting calls, stops hoping someone will ask, "Are you okay?" And slowly, his heart adjusts to isolation. With acceptance, he becomes emotionally independent, strong, stable, but also guarded. Because when you survive alone for too long, you start believing that love is optional, that attachment is dangerous, that depending on someone is a mistake, and when someone finally enters his life, they don't meet a lonely man, they meet a man who has learned how to live without anyone, and that changes everything. 1. He learns to rely only on himself. When a man stays single for a long time, his first lesson is simple. If no one is coming to save me, I'll save myself. So he becomes his own support system, his own motivation, his own comfort. When he's tired, he pushes himself. When he's hurt, he stays silent. When he's confused, he figures it out alone. No shoulder to lean on, no late-night talks, no "I'm here for you," just him. And at first, this makes him powerful. He becomes disciplined, focused, independent. He stops needing validation, stops chasing attention, stops proving his worth. But deep inside, something changes. He starts believing depending on someone is risky, opening up is dangerous, getting attached is weakness. So he locks parts of himself away. Not because he's cold, but because he's been alone for too long. And when someone finally comes close, he doesn't know how to lean. He doesn't know how to ask for help. He doesn't know how to say, "I need you." He's learned to survive without love, and unlearning that is painful. 2. He becomes emotionally cautious and slow to trust. When a man has been alone for a long time, he doesn't stop believing in love. He stops believing in promises. He has seen things fall apart. He has watched people change. He has felt hope disappear quietly. So instead of trusting easily, he learns to observe. He listens more than he speaks. He watches actions more than words. He studies patterns instead of emotions, not because he's manipulative, but because he's protecting himself. Every time he thought, maybe this time it will work, something went wrong. Someone left, someone changed, someone chose differently. So now, before he gives his heart, he asks 1,000 silent questions. Will you stay? Will you disappear? Will you hurt me like the others? Will I regret trusting you? And because he doesn't get clear answers, he moves slowly, very slowly. He doesn't rush into commitment. He doesn't open up quickly. He doesn't fall easily. To you, it may look like hesitation, like confusion, like emotional distance. But inside, he is fighting a war between "I want to love again" and "I don't want to get broken again." Psychologists call this emotional guarding, a defense created after repeated disappointment. He's not cold, he's cautious. He's not uninterested, he's scared of losing himself again. 3. How loneliness shapes his mind. Have you noticed how a man who hasn't been in a relationship for years starts thinking differently? Not just about women, but about life itself. His mind becomes a battlefield of fear, hope, and doubt. The longer he goes without intimacy, the more he starts overanalyzing everything, every message, every smile, every little interaction. Small gestures turn into puzzles he's desperate to solve, yet often fails. Loneliness doesn't just make him crave connection, it rewires his brain to expect disappointment. He becomes cautious, almost defensive, afraid to get close because he's rehearsed the heartbreaks in his head so many times that they feel inevitable. And here's the irony. The longer he's alone, the more he projects his past failures onto every new encounter, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. But it's not all negative. This solitude, when understood, can be a hidden strength. He begins to notice patterns in himself, learning what truly matters, what he's willing to compromise on, and what he must never accept again. His emotional radar sharpens. He feels more deeply, thinks more strategically, and grows more self-aware. Still, there's a tension inside him that never fully disappears. A part of him yearns for connection, but fears being vulnerable. And that fear, if unchecked, keeps him trapped in the cycle of isolation, even when opportunity knocks. The truth is harsh. Loneliness changes him in ways most people never see, but it also prepares him for something extraordinary if he's willing to embrace it. 4. The shift in how he approaches love. The longer a man goes without a relationship, the more his approach to love changes, sometimes without him even realizing it. He no longer rushes, no longer falls for every fleeting attraction. Instead, he becomes selective, almost surgical in his emotional choices. He's learned that not every smile deserves his trust, not every compliment warrants hope. This isn't coldness. It's wisdom born from experience, molded by years of longing and reflection. Yet there's a double edge to this evolution. On one side, he's more aware of what he truly wants, what fuels his happiness and aligns with his values. He can spot superficial connections from a mile away, and he no longer wastes time on temporary illusions. On the other side, this selectiveness can become a cage. He scrutinizes potential partners so intensely that even genuine opportunities feel inadequate. Fear and high standards mingle in a delicate, sometimes suffocating balance. Here's the paradox. The longer he's alone, the stronger he becomes emotionally, but also more vulnerable in hidden ways. Every past hurt leaves an invisible scar. Every disappointment adds a layer of protection that shields him from pain, but also blocks love. And that tension between growth and fear, between hope and doubt, is where most men silently struggle. But the truth is, this struggle is preparing him. The emotional awareness, the patience, the careful discernment, they all set the stage for a deeper, more meaningful connection when the right person finally appears. He's no longer just looking for a relationship. He's waiting for someone who resonates with the man he's become. And this is where most people fail to see the magic. Loneliness isn't just absence. It's a transformation, quietly shaping him into someone ready for love on a completely different level. 5. The hidden power of being alone. Here's the secret most people never tell you. The longer a man has been without a relationship, the stronger his potential becomes, not just in understanding others, but in understanding himself. Every moment of loneliness, every night spent questioning, doubting, and reflecting, it's like weightlifting for the soul. It builds resilience, patience, and emotional depth that most men in relationships never develop. He learns to embrace discomfort without panicking, to tolerate silence without craving distraction, and to find meaning in his own company. He discovers what truly matters: values, purpose, passion, and realizes that love is not about filling a void, but about sharing completeness with someone who resonates with it. And here's the paradox that most overlook. This period of solitude, though painful, gives him an edge in relationships. When he finally meets someone worthy, he doesn't cling, beg, or settle. He connects from a place of abundance, not need. He can love fully, freely, and wisely because he's learned to navigate his own heart first. This is the power of waiting, the strength hidden in loneliness. It's not about being unlucky or unwanted. It's about becoming rare. Someone who doesn't just fall into love, but steps into it consciously, ready for something extraordinary. So if you're watching this and feeling the weight of being alone, don't despair. That time is shaping you, refining you, preparing you to enter a relationship on a level most people can only dream of. Your solitude isn't a curse, it's your secret weapon. Being alone for a long time is never easy. It can feel heavy, isolating, even unfair. But the truth is, every quiet night, every moment of longing, and every heartbreak has been quietly shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared than ever for real love. You're not missing out. You're growing, refining, and becoming a man who will attract not just anyone, but the right one. So, if you've been single for a while, don't rush the process. Don't let fear or impatience dictate your life. Embrace your solitude, learn from it, let it guide you to understand yourself, your worth, and what you truly desire. When the time comes, you won't just enter a relationship, you'll step into it fully, with clarity, confidence, and emotional depth that only years of waiting could have given you. Now, I want to hear from you. If you've been single for a long time, what's the most important lesson your solitude has taught you? Share it in one sentence in the comments below. Your insight might just help someone else who's watching this and feeling the same way. Remember, being alone isn't a weakness, it's your secret power.